People are happy to see Devin Haney lose because they feel that he should have lost to Lomachenko. But the reason they're so angry that he beat Lomachenko goes all the way back to about 5 or 6 years. For those of you who are new to the sport of boxing or haven't been paying attention to the saga that was going on at 135 pounds, allow me to explain it to you, right? At 135 pounds, Mikey Garcia was the champion of the WBC, and he moved up to fight Errol Spence. Actually, I think he moved up to 140, and then he moved up to 147 for Errol Spence. But everyone wanted to see Mikey versus Loma. And Devin Haney was like, hey, I'm up there in the rankings. I should be next. How about you and me for the WBC vacant belt? And Loma wanted no smoke. So it became Luke Campbell versus Devin Haney for the WBC title, because Devin Haney was the number one mandatory, and Devin Haney was on Trill Boxing Talk. Actually, I think it was 7/8 Sports TV. He was definitely, I think it was 7/8 Sports TV. Bill Haney, Trill Bill Haney, and Devin Haney came through on a live stream. I remember because I was in the chat that day. And the brother Abel Mahari Sports Nation, y'all go check him out on YouTube. He dropped a super chat, and he said, well, let me just play you the video.
He says, I hope you're in the height of Loma so I can rip. he said, I hope you want to rip Black Fight Fan TV all day long. He said, keep grinding, Devin. Greatness is coming. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll tell you this. I will never lose to a white boy in my life. I don't care what nobody got to say. Listen, can't no white boy beat me on any day of the week.
Hey, talk that shit, Dev.
Fight a white boy 10 times, I'm going to beat him 10 times.
So I remember being in the chat that day, and Devin Haney was clearly trying to bait Lomachenko into fighting him, right? Because Lomachenko was avoiding him for some time. But in my opinion, it wasn't just directed at Lomachenko. It was also directed at Ryan Garcia and Teofimo Lopez and Tank Davis. Light-skinned niggas count too. Because all of them were playing these weird games, not really wanting to fight Dev. Right? Now, Lomachenko, after saying this, that no white boy would beat me, the WBC canceled Luke Campbell versus Devin Haney and made Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell for the WBC and told Devin Haney he would get the winner. Right? So Lomachenko wins the WBC title, and it was supposed to be Lomachenko versus Devin Haney. Lomachenko vacates the title, and Devin Haney gets an email saying he's now the champion. And the WBC gives Lomachenko a copy of the WBC title so that they could both be champions. And at the same time, they gave Ryan Garcia an interim WBC belt. So Lomachenko would deny requesting the WBC to give him a copy of the belt known as the franchise belt, while the WBC was saying, yeah, no, Lomachenko's team asked for it. Basically, they colluded and they were trying to freeze out Devin Haney. If you're not familiar with boxing history, I don't want to go too far back, but if you watch my channel, then you already know. But if you're not familiar, let me school you on the color line. Back in the day, black fighters were seen as too good for the sport and that they would take over, so they created two belts, one for the blacks, one for everyone else. That was known as the color line, and it went on for a long time. Now, the WBC effectively did the same thing by dividing the belts, because there was no incentive for Lomachenko to fight Devin Haney. Lomachenko was like, I already have a WBC belt, and he went on to fight Teofimo Lopez, and they called that fight undisputed. But never in the history has franchise belt been the one that is used in undisputed. It's the one that Devin Haney has. So when this created a lot of confusion because Teofimo Lopez won and he claimed himself to be the undisputed champion because he already had a WBC belt. And to add to the confusion, the WBC gifted him 2 more WBC belts. So Teofimo Lopez was walking around with 3 WBC belts. He's like, one is the franchise, one's the real belt, and one's a trinket. Devin Haney's the email champ. Then Tank Davis was out here calling the email champ. Tank said he wouldn't fight him because belts aren't important. He's an email champ. He's not a real champion. No, he's not a real champion. He's the email champion. Lomachenko didn't have to fight him because he already has the WBC franchise. So he straight up ducked him. And then Ryan Garcia was being ordered to fight him, but Ryan Garcia, he's like, no, I got mental health issues. And he ran away from boxing. Then he came back and they were like, yo, defend your interim belt. So really, this was highly disrespectful towards Devin the Dream Haney. I told Trill Bill Haney on that live stream to sue. I'm like, bro, that's consumer fraud because you pay them money in order to be ranked so that you can get the real belt. But if by the time you get to the belt, they devalue the belt, that's not what you paid for. You owe me all the money I paid for because the value is not the same. That's fraud. I've won a consumer fraud case before. I know what it is. So Bill Haney's like, nah, God is with us. We're going to get this done. We're going to get everything. Teofimo Lopez had no reason to fight Devin Haney because he's like, I already have the WBC belts. So he went on to fight George Kambosos, claiming that was his mandatory. Even though in reality, George Bozo was not his mandatory yet. He elected to fight his mandatory early. He still had a year to fight him. And it ended up being dragged out over a year anyway. And Tio, I rooted for Kambosos. We bet on Kambosos, and we embraced Kambosos because Kambosos seemed to be a man, and he said he would fight Devin Haney next for the real undisputed. So Kambosos, for all you dudes running around saying, Kambosos didn't have to give Devin Haney a shot. No, Devin Haney was the highest bag for Kambosos. If he wanted to be rich and undisputed for real, he would fight Devin Haney. And if he wanted to fight in his hometown, in his home country in Australia, Australia was only going to front it if it was Devin Haney, because there was Devin Haney or Lomachenko, but Lomachenko was at war, so they weren't gonna open up the stadium, and the government wasn't gonna fund it if Bozo was fighting a bum. So he needed a name. He needed Devin Haney. That's why he fought him, and Devin Haney made easy work of him twice, signed the worst deal in boxing history, and fulfilled his contract, and left Top Rank with all the belts, including the WBC belt. Now Lomachenko wants him because he has all the belts. Lomachenko has to come to him now. And after ducking Devin Haney for 5 years and basically making the man a thing of derision, people disrespected Devin Haney and called him the email champ because of what Lomachenko did. But you have to understand, no one disrespected Lomachenko for saying, bro, you didn't honor your agreement. You ran. You ran from that man. Now, when they finally fought, Lomachenko, whatever you think happened in that fight, the fight ended with Lomachenko going to the hospital for a broken rib, which they did not report. I know this because I'm very well connected. I know people who know people, and they're there. Lomachenko's team was also talking some racial mess backstage, and they almost got beat up. They had to be escorted out. Security rushed them out. That's a story you won't hear. But the brother BFTB was there. So one man went home and slept in his bed, had a party. One man went home with a broken rib. Devin Haney took a lot of shots to the face in that fight because he was hitting Lomachenko to the body. He was eating up his body, and they just weren't calling it. But whatever the case, he beat Lomachenko. And because he said, a white boy will never beat me, and remember, Paulie Malignaggi was out here saying, yeah, well, I think Lomachenko's the white boy that's going to beat you. Lomachenko is what's known as the Great White Hope. This dude is the epitome of white privilege. Lomachenko's had 300-something amateur fights, and look, bro, Luis Ortiz had like 300 amateur fights. Luis Ortiz didn't get a title shot till his 16th fight. And he's one of the most avoided fighters until Wilder. But the fact of the matter is, Lomachenko came into boxing. His first fight was on a Mayweather card where everyone could see him. His second fight was for a title. He lost. Then he got a title shot again. That's privilege, bro. Where they do that at? Oh, because he had an extensive amateur career. Do you know how many people have had like 400 or 500 amateur fights? Your amateur fights doesn't mean anything in the pros. They don't even score the same. Lomachenko is a phenomenal talent. To be honest, when I first heard of Lomachenko, I loved his style. And to be honest, I really do appreciate Lomachenko. He's a phenomenal boxer. When we put aside the color and biases, Lomachenko is a bad motherfucker. However, race fans don't allow you to enjoy these people because Lomachenko is clearly the guy was on the pound for pound. What? The guy was on the pound for pound list with multiple losses to guys who aren't pound for pound. Title shot after title shot. Privilege after privilege. Protection. We can see it. He was compared to Ali when he was like 12-1. Come on. Let us enjoy these. The machine behind them does not allow us to enjoy them because we know it's not organic. Naoya Inoue is a phenomenal fighter. I like him. But the machine behind him, when you start comparing him to Roy Jones and James Toney, dude, stop. They don't fight anything alike. They don't have the same accomplishments. What? Stop it. Naoya Inoue, Roy Jones. Okay, stop it, bro. Stop it. So, Lomachenko is boxing's proverbial. So, in boxing history, there's something known as the Great White Hope, and Lomachenko is that. If you Google it, don't take my word for it. This is not me trying to bait any. This is me talking about the reality of boxing. The Great White Hope in boxing is the white guy that is seen as skilled enough to take it back from the black menace who's just dominating. When they tried to stop Devin Haney by artificial means, by freezing him out, which is, I guess, again, an old boxing trope, an old racist trope. Freeze him out, color line, and then they tried to bring in the Great White Hope. They froze him out. He couldn't get any of the fights. They created 2 titles, but all roads led to Devin Haney, and he got all the titles. And now everybody's got to fight him to get a title. And then the one guy they thought that would beat him, they couldn't stop him from becoming undisputed, but Lomachenko could become undisputed, and then they could praise Lomachenko again because here's the thing. When Devin Haney became undisputed, they didn't want to put him on the pound for pound list. The Ring magazine did not want to put him on their list. They had Lomachenko on there with multiple losses. They had guys who've never been undisputed. But Devin Haney, who holds the Ring belt, is not on Ring magazine's pound for pound list. It was such an insult. Devin Haney was like, bro, what is this? And Ring magazine said, well, if you don't like it, you can just give the belt back. But had Lomachenko won, they would have been like, he beat Devin Haney. Oh, Devin Haney was a pound for pound fighter. Devin Haney, well, he had the Ring magazine belt. That's what they would have done. But since he beat Lomachenko and left him crying, they're quiet and they waited. Just like when Lomachenko ducked him and gave up the belt, instead of standing up and saying, look, we love and support you, Lomachenko, but that's a beach move. That's a sandy beach move. That's a high shore sandy beach move. Don't run. Come whip this ninja. with your footwork, angles, and whatnot. Come whip him. And honestly, he probably would have whipped him if he fought him earlier. None of the Lomachenko supporters stood up and said, hey, bro, that's not cool. Just go fight the man. Don't duck him. And don't pretend like you didn't ask for the belt. We went and asked Suleiman, and Suleiman said, yeah, no, they wrote me. They wrote us and asked for a belt. So we gave them the belt. But whatever the case, they were quiet about that. And they were quiet when Devin Haney became undisputed. They diminished his accomplishment. He did it against George Kambosos. The pay-per-view numbers. The pay-per-view numbers. He can't sell no pay-per-view numbers. But he didn't knock him out, though. He didn't knock him out. I mean, he's got no power. I mean, that was boring. Not putting him on the Ring magazine list. And then they were ready. They were waiting. Come on, Loma, beat him. Come on, Loma, whip that ninja. And the last image they got was Loma crying and going to the hospital for a broken rib. So they were silent. Shh. They didn't praise him. They didn't acknowledge, hey, he beat, not only is he undisputed, but he beat the guy that you said was that dude. Hold on. Y'all said Loma was Ali. He beat Ali, bro. Can he get on the pound for pound list now? He's undisputed. Matter of fact, he should be higher than Canelo on the pound for pound list. He just beat. Who Canelo beat that's on the pound for pound list? Anyone on the pound for pound list? Who did they beat that's high up on the pound for pound list? Devin Haney just got a body, bro. Plus undisputed and multiple division. He was looking unstoppable. And all they did was disrespect him. He was trying to fight your favorite. And all they did was disrespect him because what it is, it's fear. They're scared that he was going to whoop their favorite. He's going around whooping their favorite. So they hate him. He does not belong to any network. He's his own promoter. So the business hates him. He wants all the belts. So the sanctioning bodies hate him. He's black and a Muslim. Lomachenko is a white Christian with blue eyes. Kambosos said, I would rather give the fight to my Christian brother. And I'm going to body you guys with this Christian stuff because, man, you know what? Y'all deserve it. Y'all tune in for my next live. It's going to be, maybe if you're catching this on a replay, I probably already did that live. So check my lives for Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, Islam versus Christianity. Because that's really, I see a lot of people framing this as that. But yeah, Lomachenko, even, you see, here's the thing. Just for the race fans out there, what y'all don't understand is the LDBC is not a monolith, brah. Black Fight Fan TV, which does not have the name Black Fight Fan anymore, was a channel, and it still is in a sense, but under a different name. Black Fight Fan was the biggest Lomachenko fan, is the biggest Lomachenko fan. Black Fight Fan TV is one of the biggest Lomachenko fans, and he argues with Bill Haney all the time. He's a good friend of Bill Haney, but he argues with Bill Haney all the time. He's like, nah, I got Loma. And we in the LDBC, we clown him. We ride on him for it. We bust his chops for it. And what developed out of that was Devin Haney, Lomachenko was given the name White Jesus. In the YouTube boxing streets, Lomachenko is referred to as White Jesus. Because when Black Fight Fan talks about his love for Lomachenko, we're like, bro, you sound like a dude on the plantation in love with White Jesus. And Devin Haney became known as Black Jesus, even though he's a Muslim. And anytime I'm on the live streams, I'm sending super chats like, man, y'all knock it off because Jesus is black, so you gotta call him Black Jesus. And Devin Haney's a Muslim, so don't be calling him Jesus. So if y'all gonna call him Black Jesus, then he need to recognize, because the Quran does recognize Jesus, and the Quran does say that Jesus is gonna rule 1,000 years. So yeah, whatever the case, that's gonna be on my other live. Point being, Lomachenko in the YouTube streets At least as far as the black YouTubes, at least amongst the LDBC was referred to as white Jesus. And Devin Haney was referred to as black Jesus. And for a long time, it was white Jesus versus black Jesus. And we've been building this for 5 years, and they've been quiet. When Devin Haney said, "I'll never let a white boy beat me," and we're calling him black Jesus, and he just whooped white Jesus, it was very symbolic. They were very upset with that. They did not like that. So when Ryan Garcia came in, overweight, that's why they're like, anyone saying, 3 pounds, it doesn't matter. What did Lomachenko say when he first met Devin Haney in the ring? This heavyweight, this not lightweight, this heavyweight. That's what he said. So that's why they're like, Ryan wasn't big. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Same size. Because they're Loma fans, bro. I'm going to get on the Tank fans because a portion of them are Tank fans and Shakur fans. It's really fans whose favorites got punked by Devin Haney. Devin Haney be punking your favorite, bro. That's really what it is. But yo, you already know what time it is. I am Lion Rona. Don't know. Salute to the mighty Lions Den Boxing community. We gonna cook on this in some live streams. Y'all come on over. And if this is your first time on my channel, man.